What is going on, everybody? We are trying something a little bit new. I want to, it's an experiment, right? Basically, StreamYard kind of sucks right now. I'm be completely transparent about that. StreamYard is not great. Pretty much everything that they've done is less than helpful as far as their as far as what they're doing for new creators and existing creators that have been using their product for let me add using their paid product for a bit. So I'm trying out the YouTube thing because I also want to see if YouTube boosts the videos that are run through their platform versus through a streaming platform service secondary. So far, the only things that I think are seemingly different is that I don't have my layout, right? I don't have my traditional layout, and I can't reverse my screen. If I can, I haven't figured out how yet. So this is like trippy for me, but we will persevere. We're gonna do some painting today. So how are we? How's everybody doing? Let me see if I can add people's comments to the screen. Huh. I can't do that here. This is interesting. I don't know if I like I don't know if I like that, but can you guys hear me? Like, I see it's live. I see 6 people are watching, but nobody's like commenting on anything I'm saying. So I'm just like curious. No one's also saying like, hey, famine. Okay, you can hear. Ant, what's going on? Blue, good evening. 375, what's happening? Bjorn, hello. Better than StreamYard. Well, that's good. And I'm going to have to play the music through a speaker because I can't physically make the music play through this because, again, they don't have tools that streamers might utilize, which is strange. I'm not going to lie to you. Which makes me wonder if YouTube just completely like, I don't like this whole reverse camera screen. You don't have access to this feature. All right, cool. David Dunn, good to see you. I haven't seen you here in a while. But let's get started today. I've got some things I want to slap some paint on. I filmed. I'll bring some of the things into the shot here in a second. I'll hold them up to the camera actually. But I thought I could do some like tips and tricks video, just chill out, hobby hangs, like the old days. I did the priming and added some details to this on a couple of streams. So this guy's going to get some paint slapped onto it. We'll give this some nice character. Cast pieces. I want this as a table near the saloon that we're working on, like maybe up against the wall people can lean on and set their cocktails on. So we're going to paint this up. I picked up this aquarium piece on clearance for $10, and it's heavy. It stands on its own, but I want to make it fit the gimmick area, and we'll give it some paint. And also, if anybody gives me a hard time, or if I'm feeling brave, it's got a flared bottom. That's all I'm going to say. And also, you guys will see in the vlog that goes up, it'll go up tomorrow. I went to the flea market today, and I had such a successful day on my lunch break. You ready for what I got? Deal of the century. 25 cents for 2 ladders. I mean, I'm honestly glad I got ladders. I needed them. I've been looking in different places for them, but for 25 cents, but that was all they had that was even like remotely usable or anything that I was interested in using. So we'll get those painted up too. And yeah, and thank you. Thank you for, I'm going to pin that message. Thank you for reminding people to like the video. Okay. We're going to do a little Q&A too while we do this. Audi, what's happening? I do want to thank my patrons. We got Lord of Thane, we got Audi, we got Triple D Outpost, we got Mickey, we got Toy Domination, and we got, I'm forgetting someone, and I feel absolutely terrible without my prompt in front of me. But if you guys want to support the channel, you can absolutely go ahead and support the channel by going to Patreon, patreon.com/FaminStudiosX. You can super chat here in the room. There are super chats available if you want to donate the cost of a beverage or send some support that way. Ko-fi.com/FaminStudiosX. Plenty of ways to support the channel. This is something we're trying out. This is a completely cost-free method for me to stream right now. And like I said, I'm already seeing things that I'm missing, like just simple things like modifying the camera, reversing it so that it matches what I'm doing. I can't have a backdrop or scrolling text or anything, so we're going to see how this works out. But this, if YouTube updates their tools, this would be great because it would put StreamYard completely down for the count, which I think needs to happen. The new owners completely purchased the product and didn't do anything to benefit the people already using it and raise their prices. So, and I know Audi, he got his bill, I got my bill, I paid it. You know, it comes automatically out of my bank account. But that was after all the trouble we're having, and that's the thing that I'm hitting. Oof, rough. And Jess is here. Yeah, private equity ownership. You're not wrong. So we're going to get started here. So again, I'm sorry the camera's going to move again. They really gotta come up with something here. But this is how we're doing it. This is a cast piece. This is a cast piece from our friends Diorama Accessories. Raul, he sent this over, I believe, on Christmas time. He sent me a huge package of cast pieces, which was very nice of him. Completely surprised me. And I've been saving this one because it's like the perfect height for a little bar table, right? That's a great height. Let's put it on the scale there. You know, it's about 3.5 inches tall. Our figures are 3 3/4 inch, so it's perfect to lean on. And I thought, why don't we paint this up and make it look like some sort of table that can sit on the side of a saloon. It's got a flat back to it. We'll sand that a little bit more. But the number one thing you want to do when you get cast pieces of resin is get yourself some alcohol, not like, you know, but like isopropyl alcohol or hot soapy water. You can do a combination of both. I just have isopro here, so I'm going to use that. And I'm also going to use a piece of Scotch-Brite just to take any of the really shiny, super smooth sections of the casting process off, because the release agent sometimes stays on the material. So that's what the alcohol is. And then the Scotch-Brite is to just dull down any shiny spots that were really shiny when it was cast so that the paint sticks to it better. So I'll just go ahead, isopro all over that bad boy. And also, if you have any cuts on your hand, this is a great way to find them. Great way to find them. Let's see. You guys can participate in the Q&A. There's a Q&A feature right there that's attached. So ask me any questions you want. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. I'm not going to incriminate myself, but otherwise I'm happy to answer whatever. You guys know I'm an open book. Also, you know, this crow shirt that my girlfriend got me, which is actually super pixelated, which is a bummer. It's from Black Craft Cult, which sucks because it's the first time that I have had a bad time with one of their shirts. It was a one-day drop, but I'm happy to have the shirt. It's always nice when people get you something, but my girlfriend had gotten it for me, so shout out to her. So I'm really scuffing the top too, because I know that's where I'm going to be putting a lot of accessories, so I want that paint to really grab up there and get a good hold. And as I said, just going over it with Scotch-Brite real quick to take off any of the super shiny bits and pieces. Another thought that I had to use this for would be like a table next to a hot dog stand and have like your ketchup and your mustard and whatever condiments there and some, I don't know why. I just thought that would be funny, like have a little condiment table. Okay, so we got that cleaned off. Now, another thing you can do when you have when you've got a piece like this that is a resin cast of something, is sometimes you get flashing, right? And that's just where the mold seam is. This does have a little bit of flashing here, so you just take your knife and you can scrape the flashing, or you can go straight across and just knock it down. So I'm just going to trim that flashing away, show you guys, let you have a little peek-see at it. There you go. It's trimmed up. Give it one more quick scuff up with the Scotch-Brite, and then we'll get some black primer on this and we'll start adding color to things. So is anybody else working on anything tonight? Or are you guys just chilling out? Is it a nice relaxing Friday for you? And I actually will set these alcohol things to vaporize, let the alcohol exhaust off of them, and then use them again to just wipe things down. How long has this been going? Just started 12 minutes ago, Bjorn. I was explaining to everybody with the issues that we're having, and I say we, the royal we, the streaming community that's been using StreamYard since their new ownership took over. I'm trying out YouTube's built-in streaming service. There's a few things that are different that I'm not super in love with, but I think if YouTube gets actually into supporting the streaming thing like they have, it looks like they've been offering streamers a little more revenue and exposure when you stream directly through YouTube, it seems. And so hopefully that means that they're trying to get into like the gaming streamer market, the miniature painters and things like that, kind of like Twitch has. Twitch recently just opened a hobby category for miniatures and miniature painting in their categories, which is a huge win for hobby painters. But YouTube still has a higher payout than Twitch does. And you still have the YouTube market, which has way more viewers than Twitch does. So trying this YouTube thing, as you can see, I don't have my normal layout. I don't have any of my buttons or anything. So again, thank you to my patrons, the patrons that are there. If you want to help support the channel and check out the Patreon, see what that's about. It's Famine Studios X on Patreon. You guys can go check it out, sign up if you want to make a donation to the channel, help keep the lights on, help keep things flowing here. I need to get some new paints and stuff. That's always helpful. You can donate through Ko-Fi. There's super chats available here on the videos. And be sure to like and subscribe, even if you know what I mean. Like, I understand it's hard out here for everybody, so you don't have to do that. But another way that you can help the channel that's free is just by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That helps. That tells YouTube, hey, this creator, you should put eyes on this product, put eyes on their videos. And, you know, people will enjoy this content because we enjoy this content. We liked it enough to subscribe. We like the video. You should check it out. And that is always helpful. And I did see the, I don't want to get too much into it because, like I said, I'm not showing any pictures or anything. I don't have the upload feature to offer you guys my screen or anything like that. But I did see the Hasbro reveals today at New York Comic Con. Some fascinating stuff there. As always, I wish TVC got more, but I am happy with what we got. And I'm looking forward to potentially picking up one of those Sentinels that just came out, because I could imagine painting that bad boy up like a giant rusty Tin Man, and I think it would look really fucking dope. I'm glad it wasn't a re-release of the HasLab Sentinel. I think there would have been a lot of butthurt collectors out there. But it's great to have another new Sentinel in the line, especially one that's themed after X-Men 97's cartoon Sentinels. I think that's pretty dope. But as far as the Star Wars reveals, nothing absolutely critical or major. A reissue of Dr. Evazan or whatever the hell his name is. I don't like you. He doesn't like you either. That dude. But I'm not losing too much sleep over it. Over there not being more stuff, because we do seem to get more reveals during random Hasbro events during the year than the Black Series does. So not losing any sleep over it. Yep, Snowtrooper was dope too. I'm excited for that. I like the soft face masks that they all had on their helmets. Like, I thought that was cool. And then they did that with the Galactic Marines in episode 3, the Clone Troopers. I always thought that was cool. All right, that's got a coat of primer on it. We'll put a little on the bottom just because. We'll let that dry. Epic Hero Series Sentinel. Is that the Sentinel that's 5 POA, Bjorn? That just doesn't it just arms, head, legs move? And I'm using War Games plate mail metal to start picking out some details on here. And hello to any of the visitors that are in the channel here that are new to the channel, or someone who's stopping by for the first time in a while. Hello, thank you for joining us. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Glad you can make it. Also, I simply can't believe that it is already the 18th of October. Where did the month of October go? Like, just who's got it? Who's maintaining the days? I need answers. Tell me where I can find them. I just want to talk. Your mom took it. Son of a bitch. Quick question. Is the music too loud for anybody else? Yes, the Ghost will be landing. The Ghost will be landing in December. I fully hope those with Christmas trees wrap it up and put it under their tree and then open it like a child on Christmas and take a series of photos. That would just bring me immense joy. I like how that metallic catches that light. Gonna need a big Christmas tree for that. Yeah, I imagine so. I have a little white Christmas tree that I put on my countertop that's got all my nerdy Christmas ornaments on it. That's mine because my grandmother, for whatever reason, doesn't want her Christmas tree decorated in Star Wars stuff. Like, okay, normal person, whatever. So I've got like the Queen Xenomorph from the Hallmark ornaments line, Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead, a whole bunch of Star Wars. I've got Boba Fett. I did see that there's a Bo-Katan ornament this year, so I absolutely need to pick that up and have Katie Sackhoff on my tree, because I'm certainly not going to wake up and find Katie Sackhoff under my tree. Despite my letters to Santa, I feel like that guy doesn't even listen. But also, you know, autonomy. So that's not me sounding disappointed. That's just me being realistic. But I do think that would be goddamn hilarious. I loved when the Sentinels showed up, and people beat me to it before we could even do it. But like, people were doing dressing it up in kids' clothes because it was like the height of a toddler, and saying like, oh, you know how fast time flies, and we're getting ready to go out to the park and taking them for walks and stuff like that. It was very funny. I thought that was creative and a great fun thing that the community did. It also helped that it was like the peak of creativity that we've had in a long time, because we were in the midst of a pandemic and everybody had to be home. Yeah, those back to school photos, absolutely. It was just like people had a good sense of humor about that, and like really had some fun with them. Has anyone got the Shriek? My Shriek Hawks will be here Monday. I think Audi got his. Oh yeah. Okay, so that looks like it's got paint all the spots that. No, see, I missed the spot. Why didn't you tell me I missed the spot, Bjorn? You're on missed the spot detail. I was counting on you, buddy. Okay. I think we will do. Let's just pick out some random panels and stuff. We'll do it in this color. I've got a series of silvers, and then we'll start really getting crazy with it. But I want to have some that are like solid silver colors, and then other areas that are dry brush silver to show wear, tear, different variations of use over time, because this is you know, has been used over time for farming. And look at that. That ladder is a perfect height for it. Oh, it's so adorable. But like, show different wear and tear, different pieces have been replaced before. So we'll make this guy right here a nice silver piece. This little weird arm that I put on here, I don't know what the hell it's for. It just looked cool, and that's okay. When you're doing world building and you're putting things together, you absolutely do not have to have it make sense. If you're like me, and oftentimes you want it to make sense, which is part of like my world building habits, go off, like come up with an idea. I think my thought is that just things can hang from there. It's like a hook for hanging things. And that's enough for me. But I thought it was really cool, and I was like, hell yeah, let's put this on here. It's got an interesting level of detail. You know, it'll be useful for something. I just don't know what right now. And now I have an idea that, yeah, it's something that pieces hang from when in transport, or maybe when it's parked, it holds a power cable. Who knows? And here, I'll turn this around. You guys can look at the cloaca of this mechanized chicken. Is that what it's called? Cloaca? The birdie's butthole? And that's looking cool. Painting with a new Sharpie acrylic pens and saving time. Absolutely. Red, thank you. Driving at night in the mountains. Be careful. Be careful. Be safe. Thank you for stopping in. Catch the replay and catch up with me tomorrow, man. I hope you're well. Get some silver on this corrugated metal bits here. We can rust that up a little bit later. Yeah, let's paint these up nice and silver too. These little like winglet pieces that I put on here. They were from a dollar store squirt gun. They were little inlays, and I just cobbed them off of that and put them on my bits box, and then I found a use for them, and I was like, oh, these would look really cool on either side of this. And that's where they go. And you know what? They do look cool on this. They just add a nice pop of detail, recesses for like grime and stuff to get into, shadows. And Blue, to go back to your comment about the Sharpie, I really like that for like scratches and like edging, not that kind of edging, but edge highlights on things, which we could do a little bit of later. I guess I could show some of that off if anybody's interested. Not me edging. That's different channel. Different subscription service, I think. But adding edge lines to a panel. And I'm just going to make sure I get into both the crannies and the nooks on this bad boy, because we're going to put so many nice layers and colors on here. It's going to look pretty badass. Pretty farm vehicle. Or like construction vehicle. So I'm leaning towards either yellow or red. And I think I'm closer to the red idea because you don't see many red walker types. You do see when people make construction vehicles and things out of these, they usually go to the construction yellow and add the caution stripes. But like a nice bold red rusty farm vehicle, I think would be a great look on here. I thought about doing green, kind of like a John Deere, and plays into that theropod shape that this has. But man, there's just something about a red tractor that's classic and Western and like stands out. We can get some little warning signs like flammable and stuff and put it on here and make it look like an honest to goodness machine that's used on farms. Yeah, 22 inches. That's right. It is a big one. And I'm definitely going to have to scoop one of those up because, hell yeah. There we go, guys. There we go. And that's really starting to just like bring out immense detail. And I've, all I'm doing is adding the silver to this build. And of course, I'm also touching wet paint, so I'm gonna have to go back in and touch that up. There we go. I found a spot. Classic famine. Classic. There you go, buddy. Get your little paws in there. Get some wet paint on them. Classic famine. go. We'll just put a little silver on there too. Because why not? Immense detail. And also for anybody tuning in to watch the saloon build, the reason we're not doing the saloon build tonight is I didn't want to. I wanted to give myself a day off. Have I thought to get one of the new N1 custom? Yes, I have thought to do that. The N1 is on my list. It's currently hovering around the $20 mark. I'm kind of hoping it goes on clearance at Target. Or do you mean the vintage collection $100 one? Because I saw that one, and while it's really cool and has some high details, I'm absolutely comfortable with buying the Epic Heroes one and using that for a custom. Bjorn, I can help you with that. I have a yellow N1 Starfighter that I'm probably not going to use. It's only missing the glass cockpit. If you have a glass cockpit, we can talk about that later. Oh, hell yeah. If it's got if they get down to $15 at my Target, I'd absolutely pick those up. That's a no-brainer, as Dom would say. That is unequivocally a no-brainer for that price tag. That price point, I should say. I did say cockpit. My cockpit is none of your business. That's not what you said at that party that one time. Okay. Hell yeah. This thing has so much detail when you start putting color on it and you start, getting all the high points, not even dry brushing, just doing like I guess an overbrush is what I'm doing here. I'm not completely bathing it in paint in a lot of areas. I am just hitting as much of the high points pretty heavily, but, not going crazy, just doing the job. And there's just so much detail in the sculpt, and it pops as you start laying paint on it. Because this is, that's what painting is we're taking hairy sticks and fucking wetting it and smearing it on there. That's what painting is. Ooh, ooh. Chill out the back to fit a droid. Good. I'm glad somebody's able to do that. Just tuning the music here. But there's bits of EVA foam on here, plastic from toy packages, plastic gears from different pieces that I've taken apart. Like I said, 1 mil EVA foam sections, wooden toothpicks, for pistons. There's super glue, plastic computer keyboard keys, Marauders bags, just little like gear bags that are on there that'll get painted so that they, look like they're carrying stuff around. Dodge. Okay. I think as soon as I'm done with this little bit of paint that's on here, we will switch to a different metallic and start attacking some different sections of this. Like I said, I know I want to go with some like heavy reds on here. Maybe we put a little caution yellow somewhere, but I don't want it to look like McDonald's either, with red and yellow. That would just, it's not a Big Mac mecca. It's a farm vehicle / maybe, the owner might take it out and use it as a hunting perch. Drive out into the field and sit and wait and see if a womp rat or something pops its head up, because they, chew holes in their field and their livestock breaks their ankles and they got to put their livestock down. So they go out there with the blaster and zap a womp rat and then make dinner out of it. But this is from one of the farmers that lives just outside of Gimmick. His farm is slightly visible on the horizon out in the desert, but he's found a way to irrigate some of the moisture, not through moisture farming, but through actual like filtration and collection. And he takes care of the acid rain that happens on his property, neutralizes the acid, and then goes ahead and puts that to work for growing food. And he's able to make quite a living doing that, and then also harvesting scrap that's out in the wasteland outside of Gimmick, out in the desert, and also things that come through the temporal rift. He's able to go and like collect those things and be like, hey, I just dragged back this robot. Who wants to bid on it? And lets people, barter, and makes his money, and then goes back to his little farm and continues his happy farm life. But he's a man who makes things happen around the area, gets his money where he can, when he can, and he's better off for it. And the citizens of Gimmick that live in the area are also better for it, because that means they have fresh produce aside from what's coming in on ships. And I like that for him. Okay. So it's been pretty roughed through. Wombats do that here. David, are you in Australia or New Zealand? Because honestly, that's the only place that I think about. Think wombats are from. Or at least my own limited knowledge of where wombats exist. They're Fluben. Austin or Austria? Or Australia? My lore is relaxing. I do have lore videos in various spots on the channel. There will be more lore videos, but the thing about my lore is I need to have some of my scenes set up to properly tell my lore videos. So in due time, my dear, in due time. Now we're using Shining Silver from War Paints. Army War Paints. Blah, blah. Words are hard. And I think we'll do the side panels in this, just an overbrush. Yeah, that's looking good. Get a nice overbrush in there. Sloppy. I can be sloppy. People like sloppy. I know I love sloppy because this is going to get such detail and color spackled on it later. But we'll get it on here. Get that on there. So now we're starting to pick out all the spots that just have bare black on it. And I'm using that Shining Silver to hit it because we want to pick out all the detail. We don't want to, you know, completely overwhelm it in silver at first. Okay. There we go. And I am going to have to try and do a little bit of object source lighting on the front because there are two headlights there and there. And I do want them to be headlights. I thought about trying to drill it and put lights in, but honestly, I don't need to go that far with this little quickie kit bash here that I did. Would it be badass? Hell yeah. Does it need to happen? No, it doesn't need to happen. And there is still a place where I can attach a laser if I ever want to. And I guess we'll do some dry brushing. Oh, I guess technically it's overbrushing on the push bar on the front. That's going to get some color to it as well. But we can certainly afford to add some silver to it. Makes it look meaner. Because we like, despite this being a farm vehicle, like I said, it can also be an offensive vehicle or a defensive vehicle for the farmer, you know, for hunting and also protecting his fields. All right. So let's get some shining silver on a couple of these foot panels here. And maybe a little on this panel here. So we're going to pick out a color for our first color. We're going to try a different painting method too tonight, I think. An audiobook of Famine reading it to you. I've considered reading some of my stories from my book and putting them on here. I don't know if people would be into that because, again, this is like a toy cosplay sci-fi channel. But maybe that's something I do because I know Halloween's around the corner. I guess that would be a pretty good excuse. First, let's, instead of picking off the colors for painting, I want to get a base coat of brown on the bags. That's not brown. There we go. And this is Vallejo Burnt Umber that I'm using for the brown, for the little baggie. So yeah, I guess anybody who's watching the replay and also the people that are in the chat right now, if that's something you want to do or something you would like, let me know. You know, I know largely what you guys enjoy from this channel and what you don't. So I don't want to throw other stuff in, but you know, maybe I'll just do it as a live stream one-off, read a couple of my stories. Yes to whatever as I was paying attention to them. Oh, it was yes, give me money. No. I was saying how I've considered doing a couple of reads from different short stories within my book that's available on Amazon. You guys should check that out. It's called Tales of the Undead. And I was saying, you know, this is mainly a sci-fi toy and cosplay prop channel, so I didn't know if my viewers would be down for that sort of content. But again, Halloween is coming up, so spooky stuff is always fun. But, oh, people are excited. I know for a fact Jess is excited. She's yelling in caps locks. I have that effect on people. Hashtag all caps. Caps locks is cruise control for awesome. Okay. See? So we're starting to put on Bjorn, I'm planning on making it to Joe Fest this year, so bring your book then. And then I've got some satchels over here, so we'll get some paint going on these. And there's buttons and stitches on here that we could pick out with washes, so I'm excited about that. But I figure like in these are a little tool belt or something, or tool belt, excuse me, tools that you would normally carry around in a belt, but instead he's got them strapped right to the machine so he can use them whenever he needs it. And it's a nice leather to keep that Keep them dry and safe. All right, so let's pick a red. We'll start with a dark red because I want to have a couple of different reds. I figure I've seen that on tractors before where there will be different types of red on there because some parts are new, some parts are old. Joe Fest is a G.I. Joe convention. I'm not a big G.I. Joe guy, but there's plenty of Star Wars stuff there, people that do toys and things on this scale, and a lot of my friends go to that, so I'm planning on going next year. And then that new method I was talking about trying, I've seen guys like Bill Making Stuff do it, a lot of miniature hobbyists who do like what's the scale? 28 millimeter models will do this method where if you're going to show like chipped metal, paint almost to the edge and then don't paint the edge. And you can build up your layers on that. And it makes it look very cool. So I figure I will give it a try because why not? I can always fix it. It's paint. But like that looks cool. I think I'll go a little bit closer to the edge because I love living on the edge. I think that's an airbrush red, and I think on the silver it's just it's a little too transparent, but it's a fest for people named Joe. But that's Slaughter Red by Speed Paints. Just to circle back, fucking love that chicken tractor. You're a chicken tractor. But thank you. I appreciate that. So this is also air, but it's Vallejo Red. Oh, God. That song came out while I was in high school, and many children who drove their father's tractors just absolutely, and I say children because we were fucking 15 and 16, just absolutely believed that song was about them and that their tractor was in fact sexy. And it was not. All right, I like that better. And it's got the two-tone of red on it. But yeah, a lot of young men's thought that song was absolutely written about them. And now we'll go with Vampire Red. And it just simply was not about them or their crappy, lawnmower. Because guess what? You can call it your tractor, but unless it said tractor when you bought it, not a tractor. It's a lawnmower. See, Miss Jess, who should be studying over there, but I know she's not because she's listening to me. She grew up around here, so she knows that there are some folks that absolutely think that this is the damn South and that they are farmers, and they ain't farmers. And I'm not talking about bump farmers. I'm talking about, we got some corn growing up on the field there yonder, out in the holler. The problem being is that we're close to the second biggest city in the state, and it's the capital, and it's very much a not the South. Papa Jorgensen refers to lawnmowers and lawn tractors. Yeah, there may have been a time where a lawnmower was called a lawn tractor. I won't dispute, him on that at all. But if you got a little ride-on Husqvarna from Lowe's when they were on sale for $300 to mow your, quarter-acre property, it's not a tractor. It's a lawnmower. Memes. Oh God, don't get me started, Bjorn. Don't do this to me. We love the Jorgensen family over here. Don't do this to me. Make them say it right, Bjorn. That's what I'm talking about with that like chipping. There we go. Like that chipping on the inside of the leg. I know way too much what Noah Cars. Stick season. Yeah. But yeah, these gentlemen around here absolutely thought they were very fancy, farmers with their lawnmowers and stuff, and it's just that ain't the way. It's not the Jedi way. That's starting to look dope. John Deere, green and yellow. Real tractor, which was red. See, this guy gets it. Yeah, my high school, unfortunately, when Black and Yellow came out, who's that? Was that Lil Wayne? When that song Black and Yellow came out, my school's colors are green and yellow, or my high school, I should say, their colors were green and yellow. And so, of course, everybody would wander about singing green and yellow, green and yellow. Oh, my God. Sorry, I'm having flashbacks. We were kids once. Refund. I wish I honestly am. I've been looking every now and again to find a couple of rural acres with an easement to the road, so that I can have more land to camp on and do whatever, but also like just make sure that I've got a good parcel, little parcel of land, because I like to camp and I like to do outdoorsy shit, and I only have a little over a quarter of an acre here, and a lot of it's hilly. Although I am working on having it filled in with some clean fill. Clean fill. That's my favorite fill. That guy was nice. He always smelled good. That's every time I hear clean fill, that's all I can think of. Is like, man, dirty fill. Nobody likes dirty fill, but clean fill, everybody loves them. But I want to get some clean fill and have a retaining wall built out there and fence in my backyard so that I can go ahead and install. That's the wrong paint. I can go ahead and install a nice shed out there and possibly turn it into a little studio, like an actual filming studio. Yeah, I like to bushcraft too. I actually was given a woodsman's pal and it's one of my favorite bushcraft tools, and it's done a really great job. But I also make my own tomahawks. Haven't done that in a while, but I really loved it. But yeah, I'm a bit of an outdoorsy kind of cat. Although I haven't spent a lot of time outdoors lately because life, but you know, you get out there when you can. All right. It's really great when the power goes out here. Oh, nice. Oh, that you heard. You heard Miss Azrael out there announcing her presence. She's in heat and she's looking for a suitor, and none of the boys in the house have any interest because fixed gentleman, and Peanut's an older man in his senior years, retiring. He's not in the game for a girlfriend. Although I think he's a little sweet on Mama Snow. He seems to really enjoy her company and likes to be around her. But yeah, that was Azrael wandering around out there. I've done a rocket stove, a hobo stove out of a soda can before, an alcohol stove, and I've done a couple of different types of stove, but I have a nice fire pit out back. Well, I say nice fire pit. I have a fire pit out back. We'll say that, and it's got a grate that I can use, and I've dug holes before and done rocket stoves where you put the hole in the bottom, make the chimney, and that's worked out really well. Highly recommend that method when the power goes out and you want to heat up some food, but you don't want a gigantic goddamn fire, especially in the summertime when the power goes out. Because as much as I love a campfire outdoors, man, sometimes it can be too much to have a whole fire. So you build one of them rocket stoves, you can cook your food and then let it burn out, or you can just continuously feed it. Wax, cardboard, and 2 cans. You burn 2 cans? Jesus Christ, Bjorn. Those are innocent birds. What did they ever do to you? All right, so I'm liking that painting method. It's sloppy, but you know what it looks like, and there's going to be washes and stippling and stuff. I think that's pretty damn cool. I don't know about you guys. What do you think? Sign off or sound off in the chat. Don't sign off. You don't got to go anywhere. I'd miss you if you left me. And if you are here, go ahead and you haven't already, smack that little like button. Still here. What are we thinking of the red? I'm digging it so far. I think it stands out. It differentiates from the other vehicles and stuff that I've made in and around Gimmick. That's just my opinion, man. Okay, let's do the other leg now. Same red, but we're going to add a dab of brown after I do a couple of sections just to differentiate the red a little bit. I think that'll be a cool, subtle change to the detailing. But yeah, like I said, I learned this paint almost to the edge, but leave some of the silver showing method by watching Bill making stuff. And I believe Dan does a little bit of it too. And I want to say the name of the person, and I can't think of it. Oh, frick. 52 Miniatures. What's his name? But anyway. All right, now I'm going to add a little bit of brown, just because we've got it there in brown and red. Makes a slightly darker red. But if you add too much brown, you get a more brown red. There we go. So I guess we'll go, maybe that piece was replaced and this one was. We'll go a little closer to the edge because we love edging here. And just build up those colors just so it looks like something different was done there. It's going to photograph a little better. It's going to tell a little bit of a different story, which is what you want your paint jobs to do. I think this is my favorite part of building things, is when I get to paint it and I get to tell a story with that paint job. Like when I'm finished and I make a mess, or I make it like nice and neat, or, you know, really well, I want that work to tell some type of story. Let's see how well that picks up on the camera. Yeah, you can see this has darker notes and this has more bright, vibrant notes. I like that. You see what I did there? Yeah. It's like when I said I pump holes full of hot goo. You know exactly what I'm doing. Thank you. Take a little picture of it. Yeah, it absolutely photographs two different colors. So I think I'm going to mix up a little bit more of that red and brown. So again, this is Vampire Red by Army Painter War Paints. And the brown is Burnt Umber from Vallejo in their model paint line. I guess you could argue that's closer to maroon color with that brown in it, but as I pull more red into the mix, I would say it's closer to a red. That's me personally. Okay. And I'll even go so far as to get into this area here in all the crevasses so that it looks like it's mostly painted. I will leave a couple of exposed edges for natural chipping and weathering, but this certainly should look like it was a newer part than the rest of the leg at one point. And that's what I'm going for. That's in my little mental lore that I've just built up about this as we sit here painting it, is that this piece, this bottom section of the chicken leg, was a newer addition to this. That's why it's still got that beautiful, beautiful, lovely paint on it. that's not so lighter red and vibrant, maybe sun bleached, but also has better coverage. And then like with washes and stuff, we'll do some stippling of rust that'll really make that pop. And that's just kind of where I'm at on the lore part of this leg. And I don't know about you. I don't know what other painters are out there. I know that one of the usuals does a craft and chill stream. He does 1/12 stuff, but I don't know if he's telling lore stories with his paint job, talking about tractor feet and tractor legs. So you come here for that, and the occasional dirty joke. And by occasional, I mean ever present. Okay. New phone camera has a 10x lens. Finally, you'll be able to send dick pics. Ah, see what I did there? Sorry, Bjorn. That was a great joke. All right, so we got that. So let's get back to that brighter red now for the upper leg. Just straight up vampire red. You said you would tell. Well, I did tell. Wouldn't be the first unsolicited. Well, you know, I kind of did solicit it, but wouldn't be the first of those photographs that I received through the internet from somebody who's following me. Probably won't be the last. The internet is a wild place. And here on the upper parts of the leg, like I said, I'm just using that straight up vampire red. We're doing the paint to almost the edge. And I'm leaving certain areas exposed because I'm going to go back with a copper or a brass paint, I think, and make it look, you'll see. I'm kind of building this paint job up in my head as I go along, and like I'm planning the next step as I dab the paint. And it's nice. I kind of like painting this way. I feel like it's more so my method, and dry brushing too. There will be some dry brushing on here because that's got to be my favorite method. But like as far as the steps that I'm taking here, I'm inspired by this method because it allows me to play with the sculpt and see what exactly is present on this that I can utilize to tell more story and tell more lore while building up this character's vehicle in this world. Because at the end of the day, it's a farm vehicle, but you know those farmers, they love their tractors and stuff. So let's see, we'll do copper. It's just some trap music, like quiet trap music. Dry brushing. It takes time. So we'll go, just put a little there. I've got my brush here. Jordan, if you ever want, I can do a tutorial for you, or you can like video call me or whatever, and we can go one-on-one, and I can show you like how to dry brush beginning to end. Some people like to dry brush from a gray primer or do zenithal highlights and things like that. I personally like to start with a black primer on everything and then work my way up. That's me, but it allows me to, put on tons of layers. And here I'm using that copper. There's little tubes inside of the legs, and it's just adding some detail. And the pistons, I'm going to do copper on all the pistons. And this way, I can do some tarnish on them. It'll be that green blue that people like, and it should really pop the. I want to say filigree, but that is not the right word, and it's not verdigris either. It'll come to me. Like people looking at my pictures. But just adding a little more metallic. But yeah, honestly, if anybody wants a kind of a hands-on tutorial or like a just sit and talk about painting, reach out to me. We can certainly set something up. I have no problem doing that. I'm not a master, but I'm glad to teach anything that I know and share it with you. Because that's how I learned, was by watching other people, talking to other people, asking questions. And sometimes I just literally had to sit down and watch somebody do the work a few times in order to get it, and then try it myself and have them critique and comment on the work that I'm doing and show me where I can improve it and how I can improve it. Patina is the word I was looking for, by the way. Patina. That green patina that you get on copper and brass things. That is why the Statue of Liberty, who is a copper statue, is green. She was not green, she was copper, but that happens naturally. So I'm going to pick out this little panel right here. Hit it with some copper. Just right there on the side. Just let it chill. Just a little detail. Okay. All right. Now, we will take some wrought iron. Dude, please, and this goes for anybody too, because anytime somebody asks a question, at least one other person is thinking it. And when people make a statement like that, I very much want everyone to feel you are not bothering me at all by asking me questions, asking me for input, advice, just an ear. Like, please never, ever, ever feel that way when it comes to me. I made this channel to help people, to help entertain people and teach people. And, that's how I learned, and I want other people to learn. Now, those other guys, I don't know about that. No, I'm sure, Bjorn, that you're not bothering everybody, but you ask good questions. I don't think there's such thing as stupid questions at all either, or bad questions, but there are some that are just like baffle me as to where they came from. But like, you've never hit us with a question or hit me with a question where I'm just like, Jesus, you ask valid things, man. Valid like fruit salad. So I've got this wrought iron now, and I'm gonna like almost overbrush it onto these little panels here. And when I hit this with a black wash, it's going to get into the recesses. It's going to get on this wrought iron, and it's going to almost make it look like it's oily metal, which will be cool. And I want that to stand out as like a different type of metal than what the rest of it's made out of, or a different grade of metal, just because this is a cool piece. Why am I like this? I don't know. And I'll do the same for the other side. Adds detail, adds character, something to pop. And the main reason I like it, aside from like the shape and everything, is that I could lash things onto that. Like I've got a couple of like bedrolls that Bjorn sent along. I could do something like that, or I could lash on a, piece of a droid that he, scooped up. I just think it's cool. And the good thing about this wrought iron paint is it's really thick. So after I've dry brushed it on, I can tap it a little bit and add a little bit of texture when it dries. And that's just going to be a couple of spots that pick up more paint when I give it a wash later in the process. So while we've got that going, we'll do these little sections of metal there. We'll call those wrought iron, even though I don't know what the Star Wars equivalent is of iron, but that's the paint color. So by God, that's what it's going to be. And for funsies, we'll paint this guy this color. Before anybody asks, yeah, this sounds like whales. Yeah, this is how, and that's one of the things that I do, as like I like to say, this is just how Famine does it, right? Like while I paint some really cool stuff and I get a lot of accolades from people and I get a lot of, compliments and stuff, there are a dozen and 10 ways to do it. My way isn't always the right way, but it is my way. And the things that I do, if it's not strictly a tutorial, is just me expressing like, this is how I do it, right? This is how Famine does it. You can pick and choose how you want to do it. Just, this is my way. And if you like it, then yeah, I don't want to do that to a cat. But I get you. Yeah, I know the expression. I was trying to avoid it. I remember the first time I heard that back in, this is Famine just babbling now. This was all the way back in first or second grade. Our school had a cowboy show come to it, and they had laser, like the 80s equivalent of laser lights, whatever those were. So like really expensive, but it was like all red laser lights. And they did an Old West show in our lunchroom, which was also the gymnasium. And there was a cowboy, and he lost his gun, and he was fighting some bank robbers. And he said, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And the lights went off, and there was a strobe light, and he started cracking a whip. And it was like the craziest thing. But I just remember like afterwards, like, why would anybody want to skin a cat? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, little Famine even then was a cat guy and was just like, why would they say that? Why would you want to do that? That's so weird. Like, that's stuck with me. That saying always stuck with me. I'm like, Jesus, that's just strange. Okay. Now we're going to jump back to the red. Like House of Pain, I do like to jump around. So you guys know that by now from following me. Jump up, and get down. Now I'm doing dry brushing because I figure this will be the part that gets really like the brunt of wind, the brunt of flakes of stuff hitting it as the driver's walking. So I wanna dry brush this and make it look like it's almost sandblasted, which will allow me to build up the layers better, and also let me account for how my paint's going on here. But it's already starting to look like the beast that I want it to be. The late 1900s. Get out of here. I wish that those goddamn fucking kids had never said that on the internet. Oh, you were alive in the late 1900s. It's technically correct, but it's still not. Oh God, it's technically correct, but it's still not right. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Sound like my grandfather. What did I want to do? Oh, that's right. This. One day I'll get a proper palette for mixing paint. Okay, that's a little dark, but that'll work. But yeah, when I was in first grade, it had to be 1990. So technically yes, but also technically no. Son of a bitch. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. It's crazy to think. I was like counting the amount of schools, like just like school buildings that I've gone to. And where did I land? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different schools that I went to, 10 or 11. And it's just like, that's wild to me that that's not normal. Like most kids go to 3, maybe 4 if like their school does a big construction update and unrolls a new location, but that's like bonkers to me. There we go. Nice deep red there. We got the other reds coming in. That brown really helped establish that red color on there, but also the desert nature of it. Yeah, this thing is coming out better than I thought it would. So I'm ultimately and almost immediately more happy with this thing as I go. Yeah. That nice red, that nice rusty red. 3 separate schools. Yeah, see, you know what I mean? Like, I just, between buildings and district shifts and moving and things like that, man, I feel like Johnny Cash. Like, I've been everywhere. I went to school in 4 different states. Because we moved. We did move a lot. But yeah, there's a little bit of actual famine lore for you. All right, let's see here. Now we want to add some color. I want to make that push bar yellow. So I think I'm going to dry brush some black onto it just for my sake of dry brushing and how I dry brush. Timber. High school was when I went to the one where they sent the bad kids. I was not technically one of them. Well, that's good. Even if you were, you're not a bad kid now. Not like me. I'm a villain. That's way too much black paint, by the way. I don't need like a 16th of that, but here we go. Never did a single day of detention. Was never suspended. Oh, I got detention a couple of times, and I cannot for the life of me. I think I got suspended, but they gave me in-school suspension, which was like the silliest shit ever. Because I broke up a fight or was involved in breaking up a fight, but because the school said everybody involved in this fight had to have in-school suspension, except for the 2 kids that got arrested. And like the teacher that I helped, even like we know each other as adults now. Like I'm an adult and he was always an adult. But like he stood up for me and told the school, like the school police officer was going to arrest me. And he was like, absolutely not. You don't touch him. He was helping, blah, blah, blah. But the school's still like, it was involved and it's in the footage and it's good optics if everybody involved is treated equally and blah, blah, blah. So I had in-school suspension where I had to spend the full 10-period day in this one room. Oh my God, so fucking boring. All right, so that's black. And that looks cool and all, but I want the yellow on there. I absolutely do want the yellow on there for like caution, almost like it's a caution brush guard. I don't think I ever did OSS. I know I got detention for other stuff too, like stupid shit. Like we got in trouble senior year for playing quarters. Anybody know what quarters is in the chat? Sound off if you do. And I don't mean the throw them into the cup and drink alcohol game, but the other, I guess, actual version of quarters. Something just clicked in my brain here making this. I think I got a better idea for this brush guard, but we'll get there. Yeah, a little black dry brushing here and there. We'll dry brush this panel with some black just to make it look grimy, make it stand out. So Bjorn knows what quarters is. For the uninitiated, and nobody try this at home, and certainly not in school where you can get in trouble, but essentially you would sit across the lunch table from somebody, and they would place their hand like this with their knuckles down on the table, and you'd be across the way from them with a quarter. You'd be across the table, and you would take the quarter into your thumb like that, and you would essentially fire it as hard as you could across the table and hit their knuckles and see if you could make the other person bleed. Was this stupid? Absolutely. Was I a high school senior and we were bored and it was like the last 2 weeks of school and we just wanted something fun to do in the cafeteria? Also, yes. School detention or suspended, almost arrested in school for doing the right thing. Close where someone got shot. Jesus Christ, Bjorn. I'm sorry, man. That is absolutely something you do not have to talk about in here unless you want to. I just want you to know that. But goddamn, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. And for what I was talking about just a second ago, where I was like, oh, I just got an idea. I'm going to make this push bar caution stripes with hazard stripes. And then I'll just do some dry brushing on that brush guard. I didn't see anything, just heard a pop and then rushed inside. Well, that's good. I mean, it's not good that that happened, but it's, you get what I'm trying to say. Hey, you know what I'm not very good at? Freehanding straight lines. You know what I am good at? Somewhat hiding my crimes with paint. Will this look good? I don't know. Can I cover it up with more paint? Probably. And I know it doesn't need to look good because of what it is for, but it's just a little mental exercise for me. Try and make it look as good as I can. Because again, not quite good at these freehand lines, but I'm learning. And I'm learning how to use my pinky finger in my hand to steady my brush as I drag it along. So then I know there's plenty of guys out there that can freehand. See, I fucked that up. Sorry, I can go back and touch it up with black paint. There are plenty of guys out there in the community, the hobby painters and whatnot, that can do these crazy freehand lines. Your boy Famine is not one of them. But I mean, it don't look horrible. It doesn't look great, but it doesn't look horrible. So I will just wait until the yellow dries a bit, and then I'll go in with black and fatten up those lines in between. But I mean, it's not horrible. Learn that I have a slightly steady hand when painting. Well, that's good. Yeah, I could have done lighter on the yellow as well. In fact, I think I might just take this brush through and pull off some of that yellow paint. I'm going to let that dry because if I keep fiddling with it. But I like that there's like a caution bar on there. Why not? That's sci-fi. That's Star Wars-y. And then we're going to take that dry brush that we were working with earlier. Get that black paint out of there. Get ourselves another paper towel because we don't want to leave a mess. Always cup the paper. Never mind. Get that out of there. What was cool back when I had my studio downstairs is there was a working sink in the room right next door. So I could just step outside the door, wash my paintbrushes, and step back in and be right there to go. HOTTOGO. We're to do gunmetal on that. I think gunmetal's the way to go. Gunmetal on there. And then again, when I dry brush, it's something you can absolutely sneak up on. So you don't have to load your brush up and put it on there. You can just do it a little at a time. So it builds the effect. And then this way you have more control. You put it on there, you basically waste most of your paint on the paper towel. But that looks dope. And now I want to take some of the silver, since we didn't do the chipping like to the edges. We didn't edge the paint. We're going to blast this brush with it a little bit. And we're going to start hitting some of the high points with the side of the brush, the edge of the brush. So that's going to help them pop out. It's going to help them photograph better. And I mean, isn't that all we do this for, is for the pictures? But it's going to help sell the wind damage, like I said, the sand, things bouncing off of it. And that's what the brush guard's there for. Maybe he walks through some tumbleweeds or into caves and things like that and bounces off them. Are we edging now? I mean, I'm always edging. Edge maxing, just absolutely all about that retention. Very based, very red-pilled. Where are you, son of a bee? There we go. Get the silver pen out. Ah! Cool stuff with my phone camera. Nice. So I've got the silver paint pen out, and we're not even close to being done with this, but I just want to show, you know, somebody said that they're painting with theirs, like painting the whole thing or like major sections. I like once the paint flows through the tip, just to see how it feels. Come on, yo. Well, this was a great paint pen until today, apparently. There we go. But yeah, just use it to add some edges where like things would get scraped. Like that, right around that light, that headlight there. Do the same on the other side, except maybe a little different, because nothing wears exactly the same when it's damaged. even if it whacks a million times in the same spot, it might not scrape up the same way. And then I'll use this and I'll put a little couple of silver dings on here. Make it like chips, just so that it looks like it's been used. And then there's a couple of like little grill details on here we could use this on. So we go silver there, and that popped. And I guess there's like little fastener points here or something. So I guess we'll just hit that with some silver, make that pop, and then there's a recessed panel line here. So just press that in. Just little shit like that, I find, goes a long way. And here again, just those details that are sticking out. They're the first things to bump against stuff. Put that on there. A little bit of silver. Connection points. And there you go. You got that one. There we go. Which is, you know, nice and detailed. And then that one that's less detailed. And just I find that doing these little things while I work on this stuff lets me build up the complexity that I want to have on this. Like I can do as much or as little as I want while I work on this. And this is like kind of like me informing myself of like, okay, this is how far we're going to take our detail work on this part of the vehicle and in other spots. So kind of do a little bit of ding here because there's a high point. Maybe a little down there, something tumbled down it. And I think you can go too far. I know some people say like you can never go too far with weathering. I think there's a couple of instances where you can go too far and take away from your work that you've done. So like sometimes I have to stop myself, or I will just go and keep going. And then all of a sudden it's like a completely different color and looks different than what I wanted. But I'll revisit the pen for the rest of the thing. But I just wanted to show, since somebody had brought it up, you know, it just adds that much more detail to the front. So I said I wanted to add some other colors to this too. And I think we're going to add a... We've added yellow and black to the front. So let's add some... We'll touch that brown up. You just had a very shifty churro. If you learn a churro should not be shifty. A shifty churro sounds like something you pay, 87 pesos in Tijuana for. And it doesn't come from the churro person. Let's see here. Let me look at this for a hot minute. Oh, a shitty churro. Okay. Well, I mean, a churro technically shouldn't be shitty, but it's better than a shifty churro. That's for goddamn sure. A little bit of that brown. I got to touch up the pouch. Pouch. Yeah. Because I got some silver on it, and I don't want silver on the pouch. There we go. Cool. So let's see. I'm thinking maybe we do some, yeah, let's do a little bit of yellow just as a call out. Well, no, we'll do an orange as a call out color. So we'll start with German orange, which actually looks pink. We love pink in this house. And we'll be using 2 pink. This thing just keeps getting knocked over. You'd think I'd move it. But do I? No, not at all. And we'll just do this. This is, like I said, German orange, which is closer to a pink color, despite what the Germans think. And then we're going to come in with a lava orange. And that's just going to stand out. And I don't want to take this thing into like fire truck territory. But just having an orange section, like a little something on here that stands out a bit, I think is cool. And so we've got our first little trim line on there in that same color. And the other side is covered up by a pouch, so I don't need to worry about it. And not everything needs to be, not everything needs to be the exact same on the other side. It doesn't need to be perfectly symmetrical. Right? Because not everything is. I recently saw that was a thing in plastic surgery now, people wanting perfectly symmetrical faces. And I just can't tell you how unsettling perfect symmetry is when it comes to a face. Like it falls in the uncanny valley, because no matter what, your face is the full thing and not just half of it flipped over to the other side. And so when you have a complete mirror of the other side, it's very unsettling for the eye. And your brain sees it, and it falls into that uncanny valley. Okay, so we got that orange there. And then I think I want to put some type of blue in that spot. We'll go with light turquoise. Why? Why not? Whole point of this video is to hang out and add some color to some things, make it pop. We're going to make it pop. Actually, we're not going to do the turquoise. We're going to do blue gray. Let's do blue gray. And I'm just going to go in here. And I don't have to be super precise and super neat, but I'm just using that edge to guide the brush in. Nice. Here we go. Just a little something. Just a little something to make it stand out a little bit. Great code name, Rusty Jackalope, Fuzzy Kraka, and you be the Shifty Churro. cool gang name too. Oh yeah, I used to run with the Shifty Churros back when I was in back in, you know, Topeka, Kansas, but I'm not about that life anymore. There we go. That's cool. Guess I'm gonna go ahead and paint that color on both sides. And then I can touch it up with some silver afterwards. Nice. There we go. Basically here there's like a faux screw. Looks like a big screw, and I just picked it out in this this gray blue color that we have here. And it added just a little something to it, just enough. I thought that was pretty neat. So let's do I see a few different wire types on here. So I think I'm going to take that turquoise and I'm going to chase at least one wire with that blue because it's a nice blue and I already got it out on the thing and I don't want to waste it. So let me just find one of these wires and chase it. Yeah, we'll do right here. Two wires. Dope. Just a little pop of color. And I'll do one on the other side and then I'll do another one a different color. So down to there. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I remember how I talked about how much detail I can do and how much I don't want to do. Well, I could go crazy because there's where my right here. There's, can you see it past there? There we go. There's a little recessed panel in there with all kinds of lines and wires running to it, and I can individually pick those out with paintbrush. And the question is do I? And I could, but I could also use, say, the paint Sharpies to hit a couple of the important looking things, like this central nub here looks like it would absolutely need to be gold. Same right here. That looks like it needs to be gold. So then I've got a couple wires left there. So we'll take another paint pen and we'll go no, we'll go green just for shits and gigs. And it's just these little details, like I said, that I could spend the time on. Hit a couple of high points with some silver. All right, now it's starting to come to life. And I guess I'll paint this bracket too, since I painted it silver on the other side. Figure, why the hell not? Let's make it silver on this side too, because it's a bracket. And get a couple of those details that we talked about. And the buttons on the pouches. We like to have a silver button. And that's one of those things too. You get your figure from Hasbro and it's got buttons on the pouches. Take your paint pen. I use Poxa. Sometimes I use Molotow. Take your paint pen and just find the button on things and just give it a little tap of silver paint, and it just makes it look a little nicer. Gives it a little more production value. And getting right in there. Oh, I'm leaking. She's a squirter. I can fix that later. Fix it in post. Now I'm starting to like find areas with pistons and screws and hit those with the silver to make them look like maybe they've been recently replaced or they're constantly repaired, so they're slid in and out, which means that they're going to stand out comparatively to the rest. Just little things like that. You can help detail your vehicles, your customs, your trucks, whatever that you're doing, you're working on. If you're doing like classified, G.I. Joe classified toys, pick out the bolts and stuff on your vehicles that are exposed and just hit them with a little silver. Make it look like it's been, in the world a bit. Snowflake. She's over there watching me like, what are you still doing? Why are you still doing that? Again, just pick out high points that look like metal, might get scraped off, might get chipped. When you do this and over time, it really just adds value. Like I said, like production value. That's the best phrase I can think of, is when people see it, it's going to look more realistic. It's going to look more world worn. It's going to look like it belongs. And that's what we want out of our stuff. We want it to look, like it's seen the world, like it's been in a Star War. All right. But I think this is where we're landing for the evening. It is a little bit later. We don't usually run until this late. I know tomorrow I'm going on an adventure, so probably should attempt to get some sleep at some point. Look at that. Bjorn's headed to bed. Night, baby doll.
Sweetie. Cutie pie.
But I'm happy with where this landed. Let's get the camera. There we go. So we did that today. We're getting there. Let's get a normal light color. There we go. And I'll throw some pictures up on my Instagram stories and over on Patreon. But speaking of, if you like what this channel is doing, feel free to go over to patreon.com/FammonStudios. Check us out. Sign up. If you want to make a one-time donation, Ko-Fi is always available. Famine Studios X. Patreon is also Famine Studios X. You get shirts on TeePublic. They're also available. You can check out the designers' names on there. And I hope you guys are well. I hope you're awesome. Hope you have an excellent weekend. Be well and to sweet me. Boom. Now let's see how we end this stream. Yes.